Hi, welcome to Whiskey and Sunshine Off-Grid. Today we're going to do a little short cooking video. Going to be doing some cooking with our CBD oil that you've already seen us make in a previous video. It's really easy. There's really nothing to this at all. It's just like cooking anything else. What we're basically going to do is we're going to substitute this CBD oil that we made for the oil that's in the recipe. Now you can do that with just about anything, no matter what you're cooking. So you could put this in, cookies, or Shelly puts it in gummy bears because she likes to eat those instead of eating the brownies. But basically what we're doing here is we're gonna use this cheap box of Betty Crocker brownie mix. It doesn't have to be anything special. What I look for is this right here. It's a very simple recipe. All it takes is 1/4 cup of water, 1/3 cup of oil, and 1 egg plus the mix. Now, this oil, all we're going to do is we're going to substitute our CBD oil for their regular vegetable oil. Pretty much end the video right there if you want to, because that's all I'm going to do. But I'm going to show you step by step how to do it. So, I guess without further ado, we've got our oven already preheated to 350 degrees. So, Shelly probably should be doing this. She's the cook in the family, but to be honest with you, we wanted to show you how easy it was. So, I'm going to do it. Get my handy dandy little Leatherman out here. So just take the brownie mix, dump it into the mixing bowl. Oh, this one's got chunks in it, so that'll be good. Okay, so we've got all that. And the recipe calls for 1/4 cup of water. There's our 1/4 cup of water. You can take my word on that if you want. All right, and this is 1/3 cup. And we're just gonna take this oil. Now this stuff will firm up like regular coconut oil unless it's warm out. So what I've done is I've heated it on the stove in a pot of warm water so it liquefied, so it's easier to work with. So I'm going to take that oil and I'm going to fill this up. Actually, I'm going to go over this in case I spill any. You want to really try to get the whole 1/3 cup in there because it is the active ingredient. And that goes right in. We'll set this over here. And believe it or not, thanks to our wonderful chickens, I'm going to pick a nice big egg. That's a good sized one there. And there you have your ingredients. We're going to stir it up. Those boxes of brownie mix can be had really cheap. They're not expensive at all.
Or you can make your own.
Yeah, you could do this doing a scratch recipe too with no, with no problems. Like I said before, all you're really doing is just substituting the CBD oil for the oil or the butter that's in whatever recipe you have. Incidentally, if you were cooking with regular canna oil, if you were using canna oil because you needed the effects of cannabis instead of CBD, our CBD comes from plants that are grown. They're CBD plants. They're hemp. They're not classified as a marijuana because there's no THC in them at all. A lot of your big companies, they will take the THC out of the marijuana and use the CBD that's left over to make oils or whatever, and then they'll use the THC, which a lot more people want for those products. We don't really have the need for that. So the seeds are usually available from anybody that sells seeds, the seed banks. All right, I'm going to call that mixed. So the recipe that we're going to follow, which was on the box, gives you options for different pans, and it will tell you, basically what you want to use for a heat in your oven, which in our case, being a 9x9 pan, it was 350. So I'm going to make 2 batches of these, and I don't want to bother to wash the pan in between. And I found this trick works really easy. I'm going to take this pan, flip it upside down. I'm going to fold it over the outside of the pan. I know you're thinking, Scott, what are you doing? Why would you put it over the outside of the pan? Well, reason being, you don't tear the corners when you do that. Doesn't that work slick? I thought that was about the coolest thing ever when I saw that the first time. So why wouldn't you think of that? And then I'm going to take some cooking spray. I'm going to give it a good spray. I don't think it really needs it. I think I've done it without it before. It hasn't really mattered much. They don't seem to stick. So at this point, we're going to get real scientific, and we're just going to dump this stuff in there. I used to worry about getting it all spread evenly all over the pan, and then I kind of realized that you don't have to do that. It's a waste of time. It will flow out into the corners. And so at this stage, this blob right here, believe it or not, is what I put in the oven, which I'm going to do right now, which is already told me it is preheated. Set it in there like that to the 35 minutes that was on the box. And with that, we're going to have to fast forward 35 minutes for the next part of this video. Okay, so obviously I've got these out of the pan now, and they're cooled off. So they'll just like any other brownies. Now, I'm going to warn you, this CBD strain of hemp, it does still smell like marijuana. And when you cook the brownies, it smells mostly like brownies, but you do get an occasional whiff of the marijuana smell. So that's something you have to deal with. I really can't taste it. I don't know. I mean, some people say they can. I don't know. I can't tell. Somebody could feed me one. I wouldn't know. So what I basically do is I try to cut these as equal as I can. So I'm going to try split it in half, go in both directions. This would be really important if you were cooking with actual cannabis oil instead of CBD oil, because that would be your dosage. If you eat all this, you're going to get way more CBD oil than if you just ate one brownie, of course, but make no mistake about it, this stuff will not make you high. It is not psychoactive at all. So there's no danger in eating these and having any problems driving, them making you sleepy. They might relax you if you're already tired, let you fall asleep, but they're not going to cause you any ill effects. Trying to take extra careful, make sure that, try to get it right. Everything equal, just like that.
Now you let those cool a little bit before you cut them, right?
Yeah, I let them cool so you could, lay your hand on them. They're not hot or anything. They're still pretty soft. They come soft enough so they come apart easy, if you know what I mean. You just take them. I stick them in a regular freezer bag, and I put them right in the refrigerator to store them there, and that keeps them nice and fresh. Now you could make a bunch of them ahead of time and freeze them. Whatever you choose to do, but this is pretty much how I've been doing it for a while now. Okay, so like I said, we're in the freezer bag, and this is my choice for what I eat, how I take this. I take it every day like a vitamin. It really helps me. I find it helps with my back. It also it helps me sleep at night too. What I typically will do is I'll take one of these brownies, and I'll cut it in half. I made half of it when I get up in the morning, and I made half before I go to bed at night. It seems to work really good. I have very little problems with it. You know, yes, they're brownies. They taste good, they're fattening, you know, and all that. But this is just, for me, it was the easiest way, other than eating the oil right out of the jar, to get it into my system. And it's easy to regulate because the pieces are all about the same size. As far as coconut oil, you know, you should cook with coconut oil as often as you can anyway. If you read the benefits for that, you'll find out that it's antioxidant. It's good for almost everything. So a lot of people use butter. I have found that oil is way better. The actual coconut oil stores for a long time. You know, please refer to our other video about making CBD oil. Check that out. Thanks for watching.